And now, the new number 3. After a blockbuster trade for the ages, the Niners move up from number 12 to number 3. Here's how it went down. The Niners swapped first-round picks this year with the Dolphins, moving up to number 3 in exchange for 2 first-rounders in 22 and 23. Miami then gave up a 4th-rounder this year and a 1st-rounder next to Philly to move back up to pick number 6. With all that in place, the Niners have made it clear they came up for a quarterback. Todd, at 3, who do you believe it will be?
I went with Mac Jones, the Alabama quarterback. And to be honest with you, my first inclination was to go with Trey Lance when this trade was made from 12 to 3, the North Dakota State quarterback, because he provides more mobility and upside, if you will. But the more I've talked to guys like Chris Mortensen and guys inside the league, the more I'm starting to think that Mac Jones could be the pick at number 3. I just go back to what Steve Sarkisian told us this past year with 3 games that I did live with them. In the first game, it was just keep Mac in his lane. He's got 3 offensive linemen who are going to get drafted early. He's got 2 receivers in Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith that are going to be first-round pick. And then Najee Harris, who's going to be a first-round pick at the running back spot. By the end of the year, he was saying, I have installed more with this quarterback in Mac Jones than I have ever with the quarterbacks at the college level before. And I think that's part of the reason why Kyle Shanahan, if they decide to go Mac Jones, is why they view the value there at number 3 overall ahead of Fields and Trey Lance.
Yeah, Todd, I've had him at 12 all along on the big board. That really hasn't changed. And I think people were talking to me during this process saying that's too high. He's not he's better than a late first, early second rounder. And then you think about nailing the draft process, the season. Then you talk about the Senior Bowl week with Jim Nagy having him down there, and those great practices we saw with Mac Jones. And then pro days and the interviews with the competitiveness and the incredible intelligence level of Mac Jones has allowed him to go up to that maybe that 3rd spot. I mean, he's the 4th highest rated quarterback. He's going to be the 3rd highest quarterback coming off the board. The 12th spot on the big board, a little rich when you talk about 3 overall. When you think about where he can go, Jim, but when you think about what he's done throughout the draft process, he's probably done better than just about any quarterback in this draft.
Yeah, Mel, you think about the 49ers right now. They are built to win. And I think there's some sentiment around the league right now that Justin Fields and Trey Lance need some developmental time. And I would tend to agree with that. Mac Jones is a guy that can come in next year and execute at a winning level right away. And, this is part of the process where coaches are getting involved. And Todd touched on it with talking to coaches like Sark and the guys up in Tuscaloosa. So that's part of it. And then them seeing this offense and at what a high level he functioned at. They are built to win. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They had a league-high $86 million on injured reserve last year. So Mac Jones would make sense because he could come in and function next year at a high level.
Jim, I think you're exactly right on that. And Mel's right, too. This is a higher projection than most people have Mac Jones. But if you love a quarterback, you do anything you can to go get him. I understand you got to understand the draft. Something Ernie Corsi, our good friend, the former Giants general manager, has certainly taught us. But in Mac Jones, think about this with Kyle Shanahan. As an offensive coordinator, go look what he did with Matt Schaub with the Texans. His numbers were off the charts, Matt Schaub. And then there was Matt Ryan experience. Goes to the Super Bowl, Matt Ryan's MVP year. And don't forget that if Kirk Cousins' timeline with the Washington team had been different, I think that Kyle Shanahan would have jumped all over bringing Kirk Cousins with him to San Francisco. But it didn't, and that's why they ended up trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. But I trust as a reporter that what you hear first is usually right. And I heard even before this trade, Mac Jones with the 49ers.
And what we saw it there in the video, Shanahan and Lynch were at Mac Jones' 2nd pro day Tuesday. And even they said with the 3rd overall pick, they don't need to hide cards anymore. They don't have to worry about the smoke screen.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.